Chosen one, what if I told you that everything you endured wasn't proof of rejection but a sign that you were being hidden, protected, even, for a purpose far greater than you ever imagined? For too long, you felt like the outsider, the black sheep, the one who never truly fit in. But deep down, you've always known there was something more to your story. They told you that your struggles were your fault. They tried to convince you that you were unworthy, that you were never meant to rise above. But what if I told you that their words were never the truth? What if I told you they lied, because they knew the truth would shatter everything they built? If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. The truth is finally coming to light, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why your bloodline is royal and why they can no longer hide it. You were hidden, not rejected. It's a familiar feeling. Standing on the edge of the crowd, watching as others move forward effortlessly while you remain in place. You've asked yourself so many times why things never seem to flow for you, why opportunities slip through your fingers, and why people who once promised to stand by your side ended up turning away. It can feel lonely, isolating, as though you're fighting a battle no one else can see. And while you've grown tired of searching for answers, deep inside, you've always known that there must be a reason. You're not alone in feeling this way. Many have walked this path before, and now it's time to understand the hidden truth behind your journey. What you may not realize is that your challenges were never about rejection. Instead, they were about concealment. Every door that wouldn't open, every person who betrayed your trust, every moment that left you feeling out of place. They weren't signals that you were unworthy. They were a shield. Much like a precious gem is kept under lock and key until the perfect moment, you were hidden away for your own protection. That isolation you felt wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The heartbreak wasn't random. It was refining you. You've been forged in the quiet, away from the spotlight, to become something greater than you ever imagined. Like Joseph in Genesis, who was cast into a pit by his brothers only to rise to power in Egypt, you too were placed in the shadows so that your light would be undeniable when the time came to shine. Now, you might be noticing small signs that the hidden years are coming to an end. The same people who once doubted you suddenly seem curious. Opportunities you never considered are starting to present themselves. Even your dreams feel different, more vivid, more aligned with who you know you're meant to be. These aren't coincidences, they're signals. Matthew 5 verse 14 reminds us, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." What's happening now is that you're stepping into your rightful place, no longer concealed, but revealed. Your unique journey has positioned you for something extraordinary, and the universe is rearranging itself to support that shift. As the veils lift, you begin to understand how all the pieces fit together. The struggles you endured weren't meant to break you. They were meant to prepare you for this moment. The people who turned away were never meant to stay. They were clearing space for the right connections to form. The doors that remained closed were saving you from paths that weren't meant for you. Now, as you move forward, you can feel that divine timing is at work. Every step you take is guided. Every decision feels purposeful, and the energy around you grows more supportive each day. You aren't just stepping into a better version of yourself. You're stepping into alignment with your true purpose. At this point, it becomes clear that you were never meant to blend in. Higher forces were working behind the scenes, ensuring that you wouldn't be lost in the crowd. You weren't rejected. You were reserved for something greater. The setbacks you experienced weren't detours. They were stepping stones. When you felt unseen, the divine was watching over you, carefully orchestrating the circumstances that would allow you to emerge when the time was right. The signs were always there, those moments of quiet assurance, those bursts of inspiration that kept you going even when it felt impossible. They were whispers from above, reminding you that your journey was not in vain. Now you must fully embrace what you've known all along, that you were destined for this. This is the moment when you stop questioning your path and start trusting it. Let go of the fear that kept you small. Release the doubt that made you second-guess your worth. What lies ahead requires you to stand fully in your power, to claim what's yours without hesitation. Many people resist this step because it feels so unfamiliar, so vast. But this is where true transformation begins, when you stop hiding from your own greatness and step boldly into it. It's time to step forward with confidence. You've done the inner work, you've faced the darkest moments, and you've come out stronger on the other side. Now, you must let go of the mindset that kept you hidden. Embrace the opportunities that come your way. Trust that the people entering your life are meant to help you on this new path. Know that every choice you make now is supported by the divine. You're not alone in this. You've never been alone. And now it's time to rise. As you move forward, remember that this is just the beginning. What was once hidden is now in the open. You are no longer the outsider, no longer the secret. You are a force of light, and your story will inspire others who feel lost and unseen. You're proof that being hidden isn't the end. It's the start of something powerful. Let this truth settle in your soul. You are chosen, you are royal, and no one can take that away. Comment, "I'm ready," if this resonates with you. You've been prepared for this moment all along. Now it's time to live it. Comment 777 if this resonates with you. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community. A private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Their system turned on them. You remember how it used to be. The walls felt like they were closing in, the odds stacked impossibly high against you. Every move you made seemed countered by forces you couldn't control. You tried to climb the ladder at work, only to find that others were cutting rungs out from beneath you. You opened up to social groups, but felt quietly pushed out, never fully accepted. And those legal battles, how many nights did you lie awake, feeling like the system was designed not just to ignore you, but to actively shut you out? It wasn't just unfair. It was soul-crushing. It left you wondering if there was any point in trying to break through barriers that seemed as immovable as mountains. Yet even in your darkest moments, you held onto the faint hope that all of it had to mean something. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into years, you began to notice that the tides were shifting in subtle ways. The same people who had spoken against you suddenly found their own credibility questioned. The networks that once excluded you now appeared fractured, with members quietly reaching out to you in search of answers. The legal decisions that seemed so final started to unravel. At first, you struggled to make sense of it. How could the systems that once felt so rigged now seem to be exposing themselves? It was as if their own actions were turning against them. You remembered the words of Joseph in Genesis 50 verse 20. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." In that story, what was meant to destroy Joseph ultimately elevated him to a position of immense influence. The same dynamic seemed to be playing out in your own life. Those who sought to undermine you were now entangled in their own webs. Their attempts to discredit you only made their true intentions more obvious. And as they stumbled, you began to rise, not through revenge, but through an undeniable, divinely orchestrated reversal of fortune. The signs of transformation became impossible to ignore. Your career, once stalled, started gaining momentum in unexpected ways. You found allies in places you never thought to look. Projects that had been stuck in limbo suddenly moved forward. People began to see you in a new light, recognizing your integrity, your resilience, and the value you bring to the table. It wasn't just about personal victories. It was about a shift in energy. The forces that once seemed to block your path now felt like they were clearing it. The synchronicities multiplied, and you couldn't help but marvel at the timing. Things that once felt impossible now seemed to align effortlessly, as if the universe itself was paving the way for you to walk freely. And that's when you realized this was never about punishing you. It was about preparing you. The setbacks, the betrayals, the closed doors, all of it served to refine you, to make you stronger and more discerning. What you once saw as obstacles were, in hindsight, tools for growth. You remembered Romans 8 verse 28. All things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. That scripture wasn't just a comforting thought. It was playing out in real time. The systems that seemed so immovable were never stronger than the purpose that was within you. And now you could see how the divine plan was weaving everything together, turning the tools of your oppression into the instruments of your liberation. As this realization deepened, you found a new sense of peace. You no longer felt the need to fight every battle or prove every point. The truth was surfacing on its own. You could simply stand in your integrity and watch as the systems that had once held you down began to crumble under the weight of their own corruption. What had once felt like an endless struggle now felt like a testament to the strength you'd cultivated through it all. It wasn't just about justice, it was about alignment. You were no longer working against the tide. You were flowing with it. Now the choice was yours. Would you hold on to the anger and frustration of those early battles? Or would you step fully into the light of this new chapter? This was a moment of self-realization. You saw that the system turning on itself wasn't just a cosmic balancing act. It was a call for you to step into your rightful place. True alignment wasn't about crushing your enemies. It was about rising so high that their games no longer touched you. It was about embodying the transformation you had worked so hard to achieve. And you knew that the only way forward was to embrace it fully, without hesitation. As you moved ahead, you carried a sense of empowerment that no system could take from you. The battles you had fought left you not scarred, but strengthened. The lies they told about you had only polished your truth. And the systems that turned on themselves were proof that divine justice is not only real, but unstoppable. It was time to release the fear, the doubt, and the anger. It was time to step into the fullness of who you were meant to be. You weren't just a survivor of their system. You were a testament to what happens when the divine works behind the scenes, transforming every obstacle into an opportunity. And so you stood, not in the shadow of those who had tried to oppress you, but in the light of your own calling. The systems that once worked against you had revealed their own flaws, and you had revealed your strength. As you looked ahead, you felt a profound sense of purpose. This wasn't just about their downfall, it was about your rise. And you knew, with every fiber of your being, that nothing could stop what had been set in motion. You had come through the fire, and now you were the light that would shine for others to see. Spiritual mirrors are spinning. For so long, you've borne the weight of their words. They spoke them so casually, as if their judgments were truths carved in stone. You heard their whispers, their accusations, their labels. You're not strong enough. You'll never measure up. You don't belong here. Each one was meant to diminish you, to plant seeds of doubt that might one day take root. But deep down, something inside you rejected their narrative. Even when you felt the sting of their remarks, you sensed that their words were less about who you were and more about who they feared you might become. It wasn't clarity at first. It was just a quiet knowing that you were being misrepresented, not by accident, but by design. The realization hit slowly at first, like sunlight creeping over the horizon. Their words, once so sharp, started to dull. It became clear that their accusations were never truly about you. The things they said, the doubts they cast, reflected not your weaknesses, but their own. They were projecting, trying to shift their insecurities onto you because you had become a living reminder of what they lacked. The moment you began to shine, their shadows grew longer. Your growth revealed the cracks in their facade, and rather than address their own failings, they tried to drag you down to their level. The weight you once carried began to feel lighter because it was never yours to hold in the first place. You began to notice a shift. The very accusations that once seemed so damning now rang hollow. You saw them scramble, their confidence waning, their certainty eroding. 2 Corinthians 3 verse 18 tells us that we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into His image with ever-increasing glory. This truth became evident in your life. As you grew stronger, as your transformation became impossible to ignore, the mirrors turned. They were no longer looking at you. They were looking at themselves. The veil lifted, and their true motives were laid bare. Their attempts to paint you as unworthy only revealed their own feelings of inadequacy. The harder they tried to distort your reflection, the clearer the image of their own fears became. The signs of this transformation were everywhere. People who once believed their version of the story started seeing you differently. Their lies couldn't hold water anymore, and the truth of who you were began to shine through. It wasn't just that you had changed. It was that your authenticity exposed what was false. Your strength highlighted their weakness, Your clarity revealed their confusion, and your integrity made their deceit glaringly obvious. It was as if a divine spotlight had been cast on the situation, illuminating what was hidden. Your growth became undeniable not just to them, but to everyone around you. Behind the scenes, forces were at work that you couldn't yet see. Divine timing was unfolding, aligning circumstances so that the truth couldn't be ignored. It wasn't a single event that turned the mirrors. It was a series of synchronicities, a quiet yet unstoppable unraveling of their narrative. The higher forces moving on your behalf were subtle yet powerful. Each moment of courage you displayed, every act of resilience, every choice to stand firm in your truth, added to the momentum. Over time, it became clear that their attempts to tarnish you were not only failing, they were backfiring. The very mirrors they tried to use against you now reflected their own reality. Their words, once wielded like weapons, had become boomerangs, returning to them with undeniable clarity. This shift didn't just reveal their shortcomings. It called you to step fully into your own power. It was a sacred moment of realization. You saw, perhaps for the first time, that the battle wasn't yours to fight. The mirror didn't just reflect their truth. It showed you yours as well. It revealed how far you'd come, how strong you'd become, and how unshakable your foundation truly was. At this point, the struggle stopped being about proving them wrong and started being about embracing who you are. It was a moment of clarity, a chance to accept that you don't have to defend your worth. Your worth is evident not just to you, but to anyone who truly looks. The next step became clear. With the mirrors turned, you could move forward freely, unencumbered by their opinions or accusations. You could walk into new opportunities without hesitation, knowing that your path was divinely guided. It wasn't just about escaping their narrative. It was about stepping into a life that resonated with your deepest truth. Every time you chose not to engage in their drama, every time you stood firm in your purpose, you grew stronger. And as you grew, the gap between their reality and yours widened. What they said no longer mattered. What you knew about yourself, what the divine had revealed, was all that you needed to carry forward. Now, you stand here at the threshold of something greater. You understand that those mirrors aren't going away, but they're no longer a source of fear. Instead, they're a testament to your transformation. They show that the lies they told couldn't define you. They prove that the truth will always surface. And as you move forward, you do so with the confidence of someone who knows who they are. You are no longer the person they tried to paint. You are a reflection of divine strength, clarity, and purpose. The mirrors have turned, and they no longer tell their story. They tell yours. Cosmic law has no favorites. For years, it felt like the deck was stacked against you. No matter how hard you tried, no matter how pure your intentions were, the universe seemed to conspire in favor of those who wronged you. You watched as others prospered from dishonest gains, while you struggled to stay true to your path. It was frustrating, heartbreaking even, to see the scales of justice so blatantly tipped. You wondered, where is the fairness? Where is the balance? It seemed as though the energy you put out, the honesty, the love, the patience, was being swallowed up, unnoticed. But deep inside, you held on to a quiet, stubborn hope that there were forces greater than any human institution, that somewhere beyond the visible chaos, cosmic order was still in play. What you didn't see at the time was that balance was never lost. It was merely delayed. Universal law has a way of correcting itself, even when it looks like the opposite is true. Like a pendulum that swings too far in one direction, eventually it must swing back. You were not abandoned, you were being prepared. The struggles you endured built a reservoir of resilience, and that energy was never wasted. It was stored, multiplied, and now it's returning. Proverbs 11 verse 31 reminds us, "If the righteous receive their due on earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner?" What this means is that no deed goes unnoticed. The balance may take time, but it is inevitable. The very forces that once seemed against you are now shifting, not as punishment or reward, but as a restoration of harmony. The evidence of this restoration is starting to show. The illusions they built are beginning to crack. The lies they told are unraveling, You may notice that opportunities you never expected are suddenly appearing, or that people who once ignored you are now drawn to your energy. This is not coincidence. It's alignment. It's the universe returning what is yours, not just in equal measure, but in abundance. The energy you put out is cycling back to you, but stronger. And as you stand in this new light, you realize that the very trials you faced were setting the stage for this moment. They polished your character, sharpened your focus, and deepened your understanding of what truly matters. At the heart of this shift is the principle that cosmic law has no favorites. It doesn't pick sides based on wealth, influence, or appearance. It doesn't reward flattery or deceit. Cosmic law simply restores balance. What they thought was lost forever has found its way back to you. The scales are tipping in your favor, not because of luck or coincidence, but because universal law must fulfill its purpose. The seeds you planted in kindness, integrity, and faith are now bearing fruit, and no one can claim it wasn't earned. This is divine justice in action, steady, impartial, and unstoppable. As you see this balance unfold, you might feel a mix of emotions: relief, vindication, even disbelief. But don't resist it. Embrace it fully. This is your moment of realization, the confirmation that the path you chose, though difficult, was always the right one. You don't need to fight for what's yours. It's coming to you naturally, through alignment and divine timing. This is a sacred moment where everything makes sense, where the energy of the universe is finally reflecting your true worth. Accept it, own it, and trust that this is just the beginning of a greater expansion. Now that the balance is returning, your next step is clear. Release any lingering fear or doubt. They no longer have a place in your life. Use this new alignment as a foundation to grow even further. Step into the opportunities that are presenting themselves, deepen your spiritual practice, and continue to move forward with integrity and grace. Remember that this alignment is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process, one that you can trust to guide you toward your highest purpose. The universe is on your side, not through favoritism, but through the unwavering principles of cosmic order. And as you reflect on this journey, let it empower you. Let it remind you that no struggle is wasted, no kindness goes unnoticed, and no setback is permanent. You are living proof that what is hidden will be revealed, that what is stolen will be returned, and that what is broken will be restored. The balance you see now is just a glimpse of the justice that awaits. Comment balance if this resonates with you. Embrace the fulfillment of cosmic law and step confidently into the light. Your ancestral crown returns. There was a time when you felt stripped of everything, as if the essence of who you were, your worth, your belonging, had been taken, hidden from you, perhaps even stolen. You questioned if you'd ever find that sense of dignity and purpose again. It's a lonely feeling, isn't it? To look around and see others walking in confidence, seemingly crowned with recognition, while you carry the weight of invisibility. But deep down, something in your spirit always whispered that there was more. It wasn't arrogance. It was a quiet knowing, a whisper that said, "This isn't all there is." You knew you were part of something greater, something that had been obscured by the chaos of life's trials and the confusion of external voices. And yet, despite the silence and the setbacks, that whisper never left you. It was the echo of an inheritance, a legacy waiting to be reclaimed. And now, as the clouds start to part, the truth emerges. You were never without your crown. It wasn't lost. It was simply waiting for you to step into alignment, to grow into the version of yourself that could carry it with grace and power. The crown isn't about wealth, status, or outward recognition. It's about the essence of who you are, the spiritual authority you were born with, the unshakable truth that you come from a lineage of resilience, strength, and divine purpose. Isaiah 62 verse 3 reveals, "You will be a crown of splendor in the Lord's hand, a royal diadem in the hand of your God." This isn't a metaphor, it's a declaration. It's a reminder that what you thought was stolen or denied has been waiting, safe and sound, for you to step forward and claim it. This isn't just about recognition from others. It's about finally seeing yourself for who you truly are. Every struggle you faced was like the pressure that turns coal into a diamond. the rejection, the doubt, the moments when you felt like you had nothing left. All of it was shaping you, refining you, so that when the crown returned, you'd be ready to wear it with integrity and strength. You see, this crown isn't just for you. It's for the ones who came before you, those who carried burdens you'll never fully know, those who laid a foundation so you could rise. And it's also for those who will come after you, who will look to you as a beacon, as proof that it's possible to reclaim what was thought to be lost. As you stand in this new light, you'll notice the shifts around you. The people who once dismissed you start to take notice. The opportunities that felt out of reach now seem to find their way to your door. It's not coincidence. It's alignment. When you step into your true authority, the universe responds. The energy you carry now is magnetic, not because you're demanding attention, but because you're embodying your authentic self. This is your inheritance. Not money, not titles, but a spiritual legacy that radiates through your presence. It's a force that can't be denied or taken from you again. This is your moment of divine restoration. But this crown, this authority also comes with responsibility. It's not about lording power over others. It's about embodying humility, compassion, and strength. True authority is quiet, unshakable, and rooted in service. It's about being a source of light and inspiration, not through force, but through authenticity. As Proverbs 4 verse 9 reminds us, she will give you a garland to grace your head and present you with a glorious crown. This isn't just a reward, it's a call to action. It's a reminder that you are here for a reason, and that your journey has been preparing you for this very moment. At this point, you have a choice to make. Do you continue to doubt, to wonder if you're worthy, or do you step into the truth of who you are? This is your sacred moment. The universe has aligned in your favor. The crown is yours to wear, but you must embrace it fully. This means leaving behind the doubts, the fear of what others think, and the hesitation that has kept you from claiming your full power. True alignment isn't just about seeing the signs. It's about stepping into them without looking back. It's about knowing deep within that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and that your crown, your spiritual authority, fits perfectly because it was made for you. As you move forward, let this realization empower you. Let it be the foundation from which you build a life of purpose, impact, and light. Let it remind you that no matter what happens, you are always connected to a greater source, a higher calling. Trust that this crown isn't going anywhere. It's a part of you now, a reflection of the truth that you were never ordinary, never forgotten. And as you wear it, as you walk into the future with your head held high, know that you carry not just your own strength, but the strength of generations past and the hope of generations to come. Comment crown if this resonates with you. Remember, your inheritance was never lost. It was waiting, and now it's yours. It's natural to feel overwhelmed when you think about all that's happened to get you here. You've carried burdens you didn't ask for and walked roads you didn't choose. At times, it felt as though you were moving in circles, caught in a loop of doubt and frustration. But you're not alone. Many people who carry the weight of a greater purpose feel the same way. They question why their journey seems so much harder, why the obstacles never seem to end. It's not because you're failing, it's because you're being shaped. You were never meant to follow the easy path. You were meant to forge a new one that others can follow, one that leads to a higher truth. This realization can feel heavy at first, but it's also the key to your freedom. You are not stuck. You're being positioned. You are not lost. You are being refined. And you are not alone. You are part of something much bigger than yourself. When you reflect on the challenges you faced, it's easy to feel like they were pointless, like all that pain and effort led nowhere. But think back on how far you've come. Every time you were knocked down, you found the strength to rise again. Chosen one, what you've reclaimed was always yours. The lies, the deceit, the sabotage, they were never about your worth. They were about their fear. Fear of the truth, fear of your strength, and fear of what would happen when you stepped into your power. And now that you have, there's no going back. You're not just shining, you're ascending, you're leading, and you're proving to the world that nothing can keep a chosen one down. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Like this video, and comment, "I am chosen," to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. You are chosen, and it's time to rise.